So it's Monday morning, and despite the fact that it's predicted as one of the rainy days, it's actually not bad at the moment. Today I have decided that I'm going to spend in the immediate area around where we're staying. We're staying at Clayton-le-Dale. There's a little town called Mellor, and there's Ribchester, and I've started at Ribchester. I've been dropped off. I have walked to Ribchester, but I've been dropped off where I last managed to walk to. It's a good 6 miles, but I do plan to make it back by a little bus that leaves and heads up the long road to Skipton Road at 4:30. I'm wandering through Ribchester because there's supposed to be a Roman museum and stuff like that. However, there's also something called Stid Gardens, and I think we're going to get there first. So we're going to have a look at that as well. It's a pretty little town. It's nearly 10 o'clock and it's still quite quiet, so that's good. So when I was walking to Ribchester, I crossed a big river, which I later discovered was the River Ribble, and I saw on the side of the river before I crossed a little place called Stid, and there is a signpost along here for somewhere called Stid Gardens. Now I've walked away along it. I'm on the outskirts of Ribchester, heading back towards the bridge down this way, I think. I have a feeling it's one of those signposts for cars to tell you that it's down here maybe 10 miles or something. I think it's back in Stid. So I'm not going to bother. I'm going to go back into town. So I've walked around Ribchester for maybe half an hour. It's a strange set of houses, really. Some of it, like this, is terribly sort of Victorian, and you can see some terraces and stuff as well. But there is some parts that are a lot older. There are a couple of mills, for example, up there. And then if you go round on the outskirts of town, there's a hell of a lot of new builds, which are very, very recent. So it's a bit of a higgledy-piggledy, really. I've covered everything apart from the Roman sector, which is down there, which I'm going to do next. There's also a lot of names that have stuck with this place. For example, along there you've got Fort Terrace, I think, or something like that. You've got a road called Eastgate on the east side of town. You've got a Stony Gate. So it is still, a lot of the names of the streets and stuff are still very Roman still. I think this was the site of the little town that sort of built up around the river crossing, not too far away, he says. Maybe about 20 minutes on foot, I suppose. No, less than that. And I think the fort was put here to protect the river crossing. So the town itself is going to be sort of Celtic, I suppose, originally. I can't remember what the name was. It had a very long name, but I'll look that up at some point. Anyway, as it's approaching 10:30... Oh, I've also found 2 bus routes. One bus route passes this way and then goes straight on there, and that one actually goes to Clitheroe, which is good because I don't know if the major one going along the Skipton Road does or not. The other one goes back up the way that I walked down and on to Blackburn, and that goes around that corner there. The 5 is the former, the 35 is the latter. So if worst came to worst and there was no other way of getting to Clitheroe, I could in fact walk down to the crossing, catch the bus here and use this as an interchange and then catch the bus out to Clitheroe. There we are. So I did discover that Potter's Barn is a nice eatery, and I think we're going to have lunch there. That's where I am now. Over here you can see their main church. I think it's St Wilfrid's or St Winifred's, one or the other. That is supposedly the exact location of the Roman fort. It's built on top of it. And with all this green area, I wouldn't be surprised. Some of these walls look old, don't they?